Everyone wants to change their life. Everyone talks about success, freedom, peace, and purpose. But most people never realize something simple. You can't control your life if you can't control yourself. You can't command your future if you're still being ruled by your impulses. You can't build stability on habits that collapse the moment you don't feel like it. You want freedom? Then you must understand this truth. Freedom is not the absence of rules, it's the mastery of self. Freedom doesn't mean doing whatever you want. It means doing what you must, even when every emotion inside you says not to. We live in an age that worships comfort. Everything around you is designed to make life easier, softer, faster. Food arrives at your door. Entertainment follows you everywhere. The world hands you distraction like candy and then quietly robs you of focus, power, and time. People are drowning in ease. They mistake comfort for happiness. But comfort is not peace. Comfort is the slow death of purpose. It keeps you safe, but it keeps you small. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you shrink. Every time you avoid discomfort, you weaken the part of yourself that was built to grow. The truth is, the human mind wasn't made for constant ease. It was made for struggle, resistance, progress. Because without challenge, there is no change. You think discipline is punishment? It's not. Discipline is structure, it's alignment. It's the agreement between who you are and who you want to become. It's you taking the chaos of life and turning it into order, one decision at a time. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who built legacies, the ones who seem unstoppable. They're not superhuman. They just learned to do the things most people avoid. Kobe Bryant wasn't legendary because he was talented. Talent fades. He was legendary because he practiced when the world slept. He built a routine so unbreakable that it became his identity. Jocko doesn't wake up at 4:30 a.m. because he enjoys it. He does it because it's war. A daily battle against weakness, against the voice that whispers, stay in bed. He said it best, discipline equals freedom. And David Goggins, he didn't become unbreakable because life was kind to him. He became unbreakable because he refused to accept weakness as his nature. These men, these warriors didn't rely on motivation. Motivation is emotion. It's a spark, not a fire. Discipline is the fire. It burns through excuses. It burns through fear. That's why discipline is the great separator. It's the wall between dreamers and doers, between the men who wish and the men who will. But here's the truth. No one tells you discipline is lonely. It doesn't come with applause. No one celebrates the early mornings, the quiet sacrifices, the silent consistency. Discipline doesn't trend. It doesn't get likes because it happens in the dark, in private. Before the results, before the recognition, before the world even knows your name. That's why most people can't handle it. Because discipline demands solitude. It strips you of comfort and forces you to stand face to face with your weakness. You will lose people along the way. Not because they hate you, but because you'll stop fitting into the spaces you used to. You'll outgrow conversations, habits, even environments. Because discipline doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. And that's the paradox, the one most will never understand. Discipline is freedom. Every time you say no to temptation, you say yes to your future. Every time you resist the easy path, you build the muscle of control. When you wake up early, when you push through the workout, when you stay consistent while no one's watching, you are voting. Voting for the version of yourself that you want to become. Those small, private acts of discipline are the building blocks of greatness. They're invisible at first, but in time, they shape everything. Discipline isn't a switch, it's a seed. You plant it every day, and you water it with repetition. And one day, it becomes a tree strong, grounded, unshakable. That's why you can't give up just because it's hard. Life will test you. It will test your patience, your focus, your consistency. It will ask you again and again, how bad do you want it? And you can't answer that question with words. You answer it with habits, with actions, with discipline. So stop saying you want it. Start proving it. Get up early. Do the work. Stay focused. Keep going, especially when no one claps. Let your actions speak louder than your excuses. Let your consistency speak louder than your pain. Let your discipline define you, because once it does, no one can take it from you. This is the foundation, the beginning of every victory, the first law of power, the law of life discipline. At some point, you're going to face the wall, the point where you've been doing everything right, showing up, working hard, staying disciplined, and nothing seems to move. No reward, no validation, no progress. That's the test. That's the moment where most people quit, because they think discipline is about the result, but it's not. Discipline is about who you become in the process of staying consistent, even when the world doesn't clap for you. This is the war within, the quiet war that no one sees, the war between your higher self and your weakness, between who you are and who you could be. And let me tell you something, that battle never ends. It's not supposed to, because discipline isn't a finish line you cross once. It's a language you learn to speak every single day. There will be mornings when your body says no, nights when your mind says give up, days when the world feels unfair, when it seems like your effort doesn't matter. But that's the moment discipline shows its true face. Because discipline isn't about doing it when it's easy, it's about doing it especially when it's not. Every time you overcome that moment of resistance, you become more dangerous not to others, but to your old self. You become immune to excuses. You start to feel the difference between temporary comfort and long-term pride. Pain starts to make sense. You stop running from it. You start to see pain as the sculptor of strength, the force that shapes your character. And that's when everything changes. You start realizing that all the great things in life are hidden behind discipline and discomfort. Every inch of growth comes with a price tag, and the currency is pain. When you feel pain, don't retreat, study it, learn from it. Pain is feedback. Pain is proof that you're on the edge of evolution. No one grows in comfort. No one finds purpose through ease. The gym hurts, the grind hurts, the discipline hurts, but the pain of growth is always lighter than the pain of regret. See, regret is a slow, silent poison. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It whispers every night when you know you could have done more. When you see someone achieving what you could have, if only you hadn't stopped. That's what discipline protects you from the voice of regret. Most people think success is about motivation, but motivation is emotion. It fades. It's unreliable. It's a liar that shows up when things are exciting and disappears when they're not. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't need permission. It moves forward anyway. That's what separates men who rise from men who rust. Let me ask you this, what's your mission? What's that one thing you say you want but haven't been consistent enough to earn? Because if you truly wanted it, your actions would already show it. Discipline exposes the truth. It reveals whether you're committed or just interested. You can talk about goals all day long, but if you're not doing the work every single day, then you're lying to yourself. And life has a way of exposing that lie. Every missed morning, every skipped workout, every wasted hour is a piece of your dream slipping away. And every time you choose discipline, you take it back. Inch by inch, moment by moment. That's what warriors do. Not fighters, not competitors, warriors. Because the real war isn't on the battlefield. It's in your head. It's fought in silence. Every time you decide to act or not to act. When you start thinking like that, when you start treating every decision as a weapon, something shifts. You begin to see that every moment matters. Every yes or no, every choice of action or avoidance is shaping your future self. And when you finally realize that the small moments determine the big ones, you become unstoppable. Because it's not the one big win that defines you. It's the 1,000 small battles you fight when no one's watching. You will lose some of them. You'll break down. You'll fall off. You'll fail. But discipline doesn't mean perfection, it means returning. It means you get back up every single time, no matter how many times you fall. That's the truth about mastery. It's not built in straight lines. It's built through recovery, repetition, and resilience. So stop expecting it to be easy. Stop wishing it didn't hurt. That pain you feel right now, that exhaustion, that burnout, that frustration, that's the price. And if you can pay it long enough, life will open doors no one else gets to walk through. When people quit, when they disappear, when they say it's too hard, you'll still be standing. Not because you're lucky, but because you're disciplined. And that's when you realize you don't rise because you're motivated. You rise because you're committed. You rise because your standards don't depend on your mood. That's discipline. That's the war within. At some point, something changes. You wake up one morning and realize you've stopped negotiating with yourself. You don't need to talk yourself into doing the hard things anymore, you just do them. It's no longer a battle, it's a rhythm. And that's when you know discipline is no longer something you practice, it's who you are. See, real discipline isn't loud, it doesn't need to announce itself. It's quiet. It's in the way you walk, the way you think, the way you handle chaos while everyone else panics. You become calm in the storm, focused under pressure, patient in the process. You stop chasing every shiny thing because you finally understand what matters. You start to realize that true power isn't about control over others, it's about control over yourself. You can't lead a business, a family, a movement if you can't lead your own impulses. You can't master the world if you haven't first mastered your morning. And that's what life discipline does. It brings order to the chaos. It turns confusion into clarity. It turns emotion into energy. It turns pain into power. People will look at you and say, "You've changed." And you'll smile because that's the point. You weren't supposed to stay the same. You were supposed to evolve. Discipline strips away the weaker parts of you. It burns away laziness, excuses, and self-pity until all that's left is purpose. And once you taste that level of control, you can't go back. Because you start to see how much of your life was wasted in distraction, in delay, in fear. You start to realize that most people aren't living, they're waiting. Waiting for the right time, waiting for motivation, waiting for someday. But there is no someday. There's only now. And when you understand that, you stop waiting and start moving. That's when everything changes. Discipline gives you that power. The power to act in the present, to take command of your mind before it talks you out of greatness. To act even when fear whispers, "Not yet." Fear never goes away. Doubt never disappears. The only thing that gets louder is your conviction. Because once you live by discipline, your mind starts to trust you again. It knows that when you say, "I'll do it," you will. And that's how confidence is built, not through motivation, not through hype, but through proof. Confidence is the memory of discipline. It's the result of doing hard things so many times that your mind learns, "I don't quit anymore." And that's when your presence changes. You stop needing validation. You stop needing to prove your worth. Because you've already proven it to yourself in silence, in sweat, in sacrifice. You start walking differently, not with arrogance, but with certainty. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. You become the kind of person other people notice without understanding why. It's because you carry order in a disordered world. You carry strength in a generation that glorifies weakness. You carry self-control in a society addicted to chaos. And that's rare. That's what makes you powerful. Because when discipline becomes identity, no one can take it from you. Not failure, not rejection, not heartbreak. You realize that no matter what happens, you can rebuild because you are the foundation. That's what separates the few who rise from the many who wish. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's discipline turned into identity. But understand, this discipline doesn't make you perfect, it makes you consistent. And consistency beats perfection every single time. Perfection waits, consistency acts. Perfection hesitates, consistency builds. Perfection wants control, consistency earns it. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to keep showing up. Because the truth is, discipline doesn't promise an easy life, it promises a meaningful one. And meaning is what makes life worth living. One day all the noise will fade. The distractions, the doubts, the excuses, they'll all fall silent. And when they do, you'll look around and realize something powerful. You didn't just survive, you built. And you built it through discipline, not talent, not luck, not chance. Discipline, the daily choice to stay the course when everyone else quit. That's the law of life, discipline. It's not a rule, it's not advice. It's a truth written into the fabric of reality. You will either control yourself or life will control you. So choose control. Choose to lead yourself before you try to lead anyone else. Choose the harder path, the one that sharpens you. Choose discipline not for the reward, but for the man it turns you into. Because in the end, that's the real freedom. The kind the world can't give or take away. The kind that lives inside you earned through action, tested by pain, proven by persistence. And when you reach that point, when discipline becomes your nature, you won't have to chase greatness anymore. You'll be it.